There's my boy Virgil. He wants to ask y'all to do something.
Press the subscribe button in the notifications bell right below this video.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, folks. Please subscribe, like, and share. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. If you don't mind, please subscribe, like, and share. I know some, excuse me, I know some are curious about if they move here or if they have plans of coming here. How difficult is it to access my funds? Well, you'll find it in most cases fairly easy. And I recommend that if you are coming here, you should inform your financial institution that you plan to be in the Philippines, so that if you're using a debit card or credit card, whatever, it doesn't get flagged and held up, and then you have no funds. Secondly, I recommend a trusted family member or whatever to have access to your funds, just in case you lose your cards or whatever, your wallet. You have an emergency backup. Now, you got that covered. As you know, it depends on your financial status. You can bring cash with you. That's not a problem, unless you're bringing over $10,000, which I'm sure most people are well aware if they can carry 10 grand that it can create a problem. So there's no need to really get in depth on that. But you can carry cash, and you can get it exchanged. There's money changers everywhere, and the majority of them do give a good exchange rate. Once you get here, you'll see. Now, normally you don't get a great rate at the airports. Normally. Now, I have heard some people say they've got a good exchange rate. Of course, when I came, it was almost 13 years ago, and the rate at the airport was a disaster. But anyway, it may have changed since then. I've not had to experience that. Now, if you're just visiting, you'd be fine. You probably already made plans at a hotel, maybe even rented an Airbud or whatever, and you'd be just fine. Just be aware, keep it around your surroundings, and enjoy yourself. That's the whole key about being in the Philippines. And I also recommend keep it simple. Don't get complicated. Now, if you plan on living here, my suggestion is keep an open mind. Don't sign any long-term contracts, because you might not like where you're renting or where you're staying. Leave it an open option, or you can move about, and that's what basically I did. Except I did do a long-term contract. I stayed for a year at 2 different places, several different places. But I wasn't unhappy where I was at any place I stayed, except for one. I wasn't unhappy. It was disturbing. Even my first place I rented, there was a problem with barking dogs. Filipinos, in general, don't take very good care of their pets, and they have a tendency to be disturbing. Enough said on that. But after you've been here a while, you get used to different things. It's the first thing you'll get shocking is transportation. Now, I enjoyed the transportation personally. The tricycles, I got to sightsee. And I have road Jeepies. And the problem is with those is that where I'm taller than Filipinos, I couldn't see very well outside the vehicle. And I had to keep my head leaned over, keep from getting it bumped all over the place, because those things ride pretty rough. But I still enjoyed it. We did a lot of different adventures. Even on a few occasions, rented a Jeepy for the day, and then, of course, had to give them advance notice. That's something here too. If a Jeepy is on a franchise, they have to get special permission to be outside their franchise area. And, so that's another thing that to keep in mind. But you can have a wonderful time here if you just keep things simple. Now, if you decide you're going to live here, now if you're financially stable and you've already got a retirement fund and so forth, you probably will keep your U.S. bank accounts. Probably will be to your advantage. But if you're on Social Security only, and that's your only source of income, you might want to consider, and it's not a necessary thing, but you might want to consider doing direct deposit here in the Philippines. It's not complicated. And the only disadvantage to it is you will have to go to the bank at least once a month to convert your U.S. dollars to pesos and so forth. I do that. I've been doing it now for over 12 years, and it's worked out great for me. Now, personally, I use BPI. The reason for that is they got the most branches, for one thing, and also I can do my dollar exchange at any branch. Now, some banks don't allow that. You have to go back to the original branch that you opened your account to do the over-counter exchange. So you might want to look into that before you make your decision which bank you want to do. I knew I was going to be moving around, so that's why I chose. Now that I'm here at a permanent residence and not going to be moving around, I might consider another bank, but I doubt it because occasionally Grace and I do travel a little bit, and if it became necessary, I know that I could go into any branch and do business. And I like that option, and it's convenient for me. Now, what got me started doing direct deposit here, I'll just be honest with you. I had my U.S. bank account, and I was happy. Getting my money was simple. I was using 2 different remittance companies, and then I also had signed up on a couple of others for emergency backup. And I hadn't been here maybe 3 months, I think at the time. And I tried to save myself some money. I got my transaction number, but it never was completed. So I tried it again. Now I had 2 transaction numbers, but no money. And of course, I was very upset. I needed some money. And I didn't know why the transaction wasn't completed. Well, at that time, I still had my Skype number, local U.S. number. So I had to go to an internet cafe, which had the headphone sets and so forth, and open my Skype up and make a call to this remittance company. They said my account's been closed. I said, well, that's crazy. You took the funds out of my bank. You give me a transaction number, and my account closed. Well, where's my money? And the person on the other end couldn't give me an answer. I said, let me speak to a supervisor. supervisor, basically the same story. And I said, well, I want to know why my account's closed. We can't disclose that. I said, that just don't make sense. I said, my recommendation is my money be back in my bank account. And I didn't say anything nice, to be honest about it. And I actually told him a lie about knowing the Attorney General, that my money was put back in my bank account. That's when I started doing some serious research on how to get direct deposit to the Philippines. I did have a backup plan, but the money wasn't in the bank. Keep that in mind. They had took my funds. I had a person that I could have contacted in the United States, and they could have went to the bank and got the funds and went to MoneyGram or whatever, or Western Union, and sent me some money. I have no money in the bank. That was terrible. So if you got one source of income and it's just a regular pension, I use Social Security for an example, you might want to consider doing direct deposit here. It takes a lot of hassle out. You don't have a third party involved. You don't have to rely on someone else. With the time difference, it can be complicated, it just takes a lot of hassle out. Anyway, folks, that's some of the things I have experienced. And it made things simple. I like keeping things simple. That's the main reason I have direct deposit. And also, if you need to, I rented several places and I had good experiences. And a lot of places, it's not as common as it was back when I was renting, but you don't expect to get your deposit back. I could have got it back at one place, but they were just so nice about taking care of the place. I told them I'd feel better if they just keep it. I mean, they was exceptional landlords. And I just felt guilty if I took the money. The main reason I left, from that house, they was going to have to tear the floors up, concrete and so forth, because they had a drainage issue. And I knew it was going to take some time to repair it. And the drain went through the living room to the street. And you can imagine what a mess that would have been trying to live through while they was repairing it. And they understood what they did. So it was a good experience, and I felt pity for them because they was going to be at a big expense because the original contractor didn't put they put in the drainage flat level, and it had no elevation to it where it could drain, no angle. That was why. And things went well, we ended up moving to another island here in Negros. I've just enjoyed myself the whole time. It's crazy to think that I've been here as long as I have, and the way I feel about it, it doesn't feel like I've been here maybe a month or so at the most. But it's been almost 13 years past. Keep it simple, and you can live good. But there's a lot of things if you use your head and pay attention and do enough research before you come here, you can really enjoy yourself. And keep that in mind, and keep watching different videos, not just me, and get all the information you can before you make that jump over here. And I really appreciate everybody watching my videos. thank you to all my subscribers. My channel's been growing, and I appreciate it, really do. So if you don't mind, please subscribe, like, and share.